What's going on, guys? It is Psycho here, and today I'm going to be showing you guys my new asset that is about to be released either this week or this weekend coming up. So it will be released on the asset store, which I hope it will be without any issues, and it will also be released on Sellfy. More details with price, etc. is coming up later on. If you want to follow up with a bit more in-depth information like that, you can subscribe to the forum thread on Unity's forum, which I will link in the description below. Or you can also follow me on Twitter, which is where I usually post news about my videos, post some weird stuff, like that's confirmed, and some other stuff for myself, etc. So if you guys want to be a little bit more in depth and follow up and stay up to tune, go ahead and follow me on Twitter. So let's get into this video. Today I'm only going to be showing you guys some of the core features that SurvivalEngine PRO has to offer, and nothing too specific or spectacular. So I'm not getting it into a lot of details and documentation or anything like that. I'm just going to be showing you guys what it is possible to do in this current state, and what it's not possible to do. And just to let you guys know from the start, there is no requirement for you to own any other SurvivalEngine asset in order to make this work. This is a completely independent asset. SurvivalEngine PRO is a completely independent asset, and you do not need SurvivalEngine 1 or 2 or any other asset at all to make it work. It's gonna be functional completely on its own. So we got that off my chest because I saw that a lot of people were wondering, which I grant you the right to do so because it's obvious. Some people force you to buy another asset before you can use their own. So yeah, but I'm not like that. I don't have any requirement for that. So yes, let's get into the demo. So this is the demo scene that I built whilst developing SurvivalEngine PRO because I wanted to have a scene to test everything on. You realize that I'm a very good modeler. Okay, you cannot joke about my modeling skills, and you won't believe me. You will not believe me, but this right here, this rectangle, beautiful model is wood. Okay, this is what you get from cutting down trees. So yes. You'll see that we have an inventory, which is also a part of SurvivalEngine PRO. It has a lot of slots. You can decide how many slots you want, and you can also literally just design everything because you will only use S window, as I like to call it, which is the editor window for SurvivalEngine PRO, to add the inventory to the player object, which you will obviously specify. I will show you guys later. And then after adding that, you can change the material, the textures, whatever you want, literally everything, including positioning and groups, etc., by going to player object, main camera, inventory. So it's very simple, and it will save. It will not be overwritten by any stupid mistakes made in S window, but it will just save whatever you specify for it. Next to the slots, we have a little box that is called for info box. So it's going to be displaying information about the item that we're hovering the mouse over. Okay, so it's empty now, obviously, and that's why it's not showing up any information. And you will realize that it gets darker and lighter depending on how I move it. It's because the sun is reflecting right now to the slots. It's because I haven't specified any good material yet. It's just in standard material, both the inventory and the slots. So there's nothing specific yet, but it's you can obviously make it color, or you can change the slot textures. You can change everything. So let's close down inventory, and you can also specify input by going to player tab and then inventory directory inside of S window. I'll show you guys that later as well. It's very simple to edit everything. So we can just walk up to your weapon, or you can also specify that you want to press a button when you get near a item or a weapon. So if I walk over the sword, it will also debug that added sword to slot 0. So we will open up inventory, and we'll see that we have an icon here. Now this icon does obviously not represent any kind of sword, but it's just a test icon that I was using. So if you hover over it, it will say in the info box to the right of the slots that it's the item name is sword, and this is a close range sword that you can use to deal 5 to 6 damage. This is a damage that will be, which is what you guys will be. There are basically two different float fields. You'll fill in one with say 5 and then another with 6 for the sword in this case, and it will randomize another float in between these two digits. If you don't want to use any randomized number for damage, you just want to use a constant variable, you can feel free to do so by just filling the same number in both fields. So let's say you want to use 5 damage only and not 5 to 6 or 5 to 7, whatever, you can just fill 5 on both of the digit fields. I will show you guys that later as well. I will show you guys everything. So now that we got the info box working, let's click on this word and you will see that we equip it. Now there's one problem with this. You obviously, if we go to weapon spawn point, you will see that this word is located there, but it's not rotated in the place we probably want it to be. Well, it's very simple to fix it by just giving it a custom spawn point instead of using the weapon spawn point. It will still make it of a child object of this weapon spawn point, but it will be using the vector 3s, 3 different vector 3s that you guys will enter inside of S window. So now that we got this going, we can click F to unequip, and we can walk up to this pistol. This pistol is a great model though, you cannot joke with that. And once again, in the info box there's some details about the weapon, which you guys can edit inside of this window. So it says M9, this is a pistol called M9, it deals random damage between 10 to 12, okay? So we click it, it will equip, and also when you have the inventory, it will not be displayed actually, so it's displaying just because it's cubes, and they are not using any mesh renders, or actually they are, but you know, the whole parent object for M9 or sword is not using any mesh renders. So it's, if you go ahead and fold it out, you know, it's using cubes, so there are mesh renders on them, but you know, it's not the group object, it's not the parent. So yeah, it will actually be disabled, but it's just for testing purposes right now. So we have now a sword and a weapon called for M9. So we can see that now these are health pots. These are health or medkits, better to say. So if we pick it up, it will say 100 HP pickup. This is another HP item, though this one gives you plus 100 HP, oops, sorry, to the player instead of 50. And you can also see the player health, etc. by highlighting the player that you've given. And inside of S player, which will be added automatically, you will see that we have health, and you can also show progress bar so that you can see everything like maximum health, maximum armor, and you know, energy, whatever, like hunger, thirst, everything like that. Now that I've shown you the core of the demo scene, which is not where everything is assigned, not all the features are being used from SurvivalEngine, I'll show you the S window that I was talking about. So we can go ahead and open it up by clicking on the tab as SurvivalEngine Pro and then going down to Manager, or just simply clicking Control Q. So we're going to be introduced to the Player tab, and then we're going to have 4 different directories. The first one is to start off with General. I'm not going to go through everything. I'm not going to go through all these tabs neither. I'm just going to show you guys the simple and core information that I was showing in the demo scene itself. So we have the General tab where the core information for the player will be assigned, will have to be assigned by you. So we have the player object, camera, player name, and player model name. So these are the core information. You can leave these 2 fields completely empty. They are not necessary, but they are necessary if you want to use the API, because maybe you want to display the player name inside of your game, then you can just, you know, write in John, and then inside of the API you can check out how to use the player name, which is very simple, and the API is going to be very well documented and really informative. So it's not going to be just a very simple made up, you know, API list. It's going to be very well documented. So we have the player name, we have the player model name. As I said, you can leave them completely empty, but I want to use them because I'm going to use the API later on, let's say. And then we have the player core, where you can assign maximum health, armor, energy, and they will all take care of themselves, etc., such as when taking damage, etc. So if you have armor, you know, the armor will decrease, then you will move on to decreasing the health, so you don't have to make any functional codes for them. They will work on themselves. But if you want to edit them, there's an API. Then we have hunger and thirst, which are the only two fields that you actually have to edit inside of the player tab. So we have the maximum hunger, which is going to be the digit, which is going to be basically the hunger is going to be straining after reaching for 250, and each time you eat something, which is an item that you're going to assign in items and weapons, it will obviously decrease, right? So, and you'll see how many different options there are for decreasing health, etc., or decreasing hunger and thirst, etc. So we also have hunger increase, which is the float value that is going to be increased. That is going to be increased each time the timer hits hunger increase time, which is in this case 6. And you can also see that in this little information label, hunger will increase by 2 each 6 seconds until it reaches 250 hunger points. And the same thing goes for thirst. The more you drink, the more, you know, it will decrease, and you'll be able to optimize it all from items and weapons tab. Going through the other directories very quickly, starting items is a directory where you'll be able to, its UI is not done, I can just show it to you, but you'll be able to assign some items which are going to be added to the player inventory at start of the game. So you want to let the player start with an axe. Well, you can just write in axe if you have the item or weapon assigned in items and weapons tab. Then you can just, you know, it will give it automatically to the player. Then we have FPS and TPS, where you'll be able to select if the player is going to be only first person shooter perspective, or if it's going to be TPS, third person shooter perspective, or if it's going to be using both. And if you use both, you'll be also able to enter a key code from the input, where you'll basically assign a key from your keyboard and let the player choose what kind of key they want to press in order to switch between FPS and TPS. And you will also see that camera attaching points will be extended with TPS, not only FPS, which is basically where the camera should be moved when you know, you assign TPS camera spot. So yes, but I'm gonna be using FPS only, so I will only highlight that. And input, like I said, you'll be able to actually just assign a lot of keys on your keyboard if you don't want to use the default key layout that I'm giving with SurvivalEngine Pro. So basically it's gonna be like unequipping your weapon, or dropping your item, whatever you can imagine of. So, and also obviously for switching between FPS and TPS. Next up we have inventory. It's introduced with three directories, and we have design, which is the first one. We have inventory UI. You can assign inventory material, inventory slot material, and displaying item amount. So you can choose where the amount number is going to be displayed on the inventory, such as top left, top right, bottom left, bottom right. So we also have settings, amount of inventory slots. So you'll be able to assign, we actually have 25 right now, so I'll just assign it to 25. And you will also be able to choose inventory slots each row. Okay, so this is going to be, we have 5 inventory slots, like you can see in the background too. And you know, you'll be able to assign how many inventory slots you want to use each row. And then you can edit all of these information just by either going in here and editing all the info or the properties, or just literally enable the inventory object inside of the scene and then just go here. Or actually you can use this button that I have added, which will do the simple math for you. You can click edit inventory design, and then it will open up the inventory, and it will even highlight the object for inventory, and it will also highlight the slot object so you can move them around, etc. And you will also have save inventory design to just shut down or make it invisible so that you don't have to get distracted by the inventory. You also have use information box, which is toggle, and it will say that it's not, there seems to be no inventory found by SurvivalEngine, which is probably just an issue based in the script. So it's not an issue, it's not an error or bug and anything like that. It's just that it can't find the object for some reason. So I've added that feature so that if it does like bug out or anything like that, it will let you guys know. So we're done with this part. We have blueprints, which is for crafting, where you will be able to select how it's going to be displayed. And then we have a button here. So this will add the inventory to the player prefab that you assign in the player tab in the general directory, which is here, player object. So it will automatically, actually, no, it's going to be on the player camera, sorry. So it will automatically find the player camera and make the inventory object a child of that object. So moving on, we can go to items and weapons tool, or tab, there we go. So we're going to be introduced to two buttons to start off with. One is items, the other one is weapons. The color will be changed. I know the design is very ugly right now for the two buttons. I'm sorry, I just punched my desktop. But so we're on items. It will say item database. You'll be able to add new item, delete latest item, and then search item. So such as this is called for wood. If we add another item and we call this for spikes or spike, and if you search for W, it will find the wood. If you search for spike, it will find it. If you search for X, it won't find it. So the search function is fully working. So yeah. Now we can click this little X button right here to nullify the element, and it will also debug that, saying nullified element 1. And you'll also see that we have another button for each digit, which is the item ID. So you don't have to worry about this. It's just displaying what kind of ID it is for the item. You can also search after ID, such as 1. It will find 1, but it couldn't find 0. So we can search for 0, it will find 0. But it's not, I don't know why it's not hiding the other ones. I'll fix that, but that's not a problem. So we also have item icon, which is the funny little icon that I was using for this wood item, as you can remember, inside of the inventory. We can edit that icon by just clicking this little circle or just dragging any prefab inside of here. It's going to be a texture prefab, obviously, or actually a texture 2D. So it's very simple to edit anything at all. And we also have a button for edit this item. So we will highlight this item inside of edit item settings, which is down below. And you'll see that we have some simple information such as item ID, which is in this case 0 because this button right here represents it. And we also have item name, item description, which is here where you can edit the item description very easily. And to demonstrate to you guys, I will actually edit this item. Actually, I will do it with the gun instead because I find it more amusing. So we can select the toggle in case if this item is pickable or not, and then we can also use item one time use only. So if you click on it from the inventory, will it disappear after one time, or will it like decrease the amount of this item that is located in this specific slot, right? So yeah, and also it will take care of if you have, let's say, wood item in slot 1, and then you walk over another wood or click on any button for picking up wood, it will see if you have any wood item in your slot and then just add the amount of wood that you have onto the same spot or slot, so you won't have to use different slots for same item. You can obviously choose to do so, but you know, it's by default like that, and I think you guys will find it amusing as well. We have the final button called for add S item component, which will add literally the S item component, and also if you first like add this S-item component to the object, and then you want to update it, you can come here and click the add S-item component again, and it will just update the component. So you won't have to go to the object and, you know, delete a bunch of components that are added for unnecessary purposes. It will only add once and check if it is already existent on that object, and then if it's not, it will add once. If it is, it will just update it, like I said. Oh yeah, we can also go through this item type. So we have it on craftable because wood is not usable right now, because as you can see in the demo scene, I clicked on it and nothing happened because it is craftable only. So we can use it for a torch, such as either a torch or a flashlight. We can use it to gain armor, such as cloth. We can use it as a drink item to decrease our thirst, and we can use it for food, to eat it and, you know, feel better, and obviously decrease the hunger for player. Or we can use it finally for health, which is going to grant us a amount of health. And when you click on either health, food, drink, armor, you will see that another field is filled out underneath the item type, which will say amount of HP to add. And then you can also go to drink, decrease thirst by, and you will be able to enter like 50, and then as soon as you drink it, it will decrease your current thirst with 50. So yeah, it's very simple to use. Now we're gonna take it back to craftable. So next up, we're gonna go into weapons tab, or the directory. Now we have 3 different buttons. It's the same design as items, but it will be a little bit changed because the weapon settings will be a bit more upper in position, because it's a lot bigger, actually, not a bit, because there are obviously more options to choose and more properties to fill in case you find it necessary for each weapon. So we can click on edit this weapon for either sword or M9. It will change the values depending on which item we're editing, or the weapon we're editing. So we can see that it's calling now M9 settings. So weapon name, weapon ID, weapon description, just like the other time. And as you can remember, actually I'll do it later just to demonstrate for you guys. So we also have a weapon pickable and weapon type. And you will see that we have a huge variety of different weapons that we can assign for this. We have knife, hammer, axe, spear, pistol, SMG, assault rifle, rifle, and shotgun. Rifle is for like snipers and just like, you know, old-time war rifles. And also, depending on the type of weapon you choose, it will actually initialize all the weapon properties for this gun that you're assigning right now. Also, a very, very important note, you'll realize that we have a weapon name and it doesn't ask for any prefab or any game object. That is because we can literally right now either select to choose the weapon name and then write an M9. And if we have several M9s in the scene, or depending on the amount of M9s we have in the scene, it will find every single one of them and add the S-weapon component with these properties that we're giving the weapon, such as the weapon damage, weapon durability, etc., etc., right? So you don't have to go ahead and create a element for each and every single one of these like prefabs or game objects that you have of the same weapon. So you just enter the name and it will find every single one of the M9s in the scene and add the component with the values that you enter, such as the name, ID, damage, and so on. And one important note though, you do need to have the weapon name or the game object name to M9, or whatever the name is of the game object, you need to enter it here. So that's the only important note right here. There's nothing else that you have to take care of or anything like that. SurvivalEngine Pro will do it automatically for you. So, and let's say you want to use these properties for only one single M9 and the other M9s, or the other M9 is going to be using different properties. You can go ahead and add the S-weapon component just like you add any other component regularly. So we also have a weapon icon. We have edit this weapon, add S-weapon component. I'll also demonstrate for you guys in a bit how to use the add S-weapon component so that you can actually just update which is very simple. It will take care of itself, but just to make it sure that you guys know how to use it. So let's go through the where did we left? We left it at weapon type, right? Yeah, I showed you guys the weapon type. So we have weapon description, weapon mag name, and this is the same logic for weapon name. You'll find every single M9 mag game object, and we can go to pickups and see that we have 3 different M9 mag game objects. It does not have any custom inspector right now, but I will be adding it. It's not a problem. But so we can see that they all 3 have these SMAG components, and they are added due to this, just entering the M9 mag name. And you'll realize that if we highlight a weapon that is a melee, it won't be there anymore, because obviously you don't use any mags for melee weapons. So yes, we also have different properties for weapon damage, which is where I talked about you know, entering 2 different values for damaging. So we have 10 and 12. Let's say we only want to use 10 damage, right? We only want to deal 10 damage with the gun. Then we can just enter 10 in both fields. It's as simple as it gets. So we also have weapon durability, which is the usage of weapon until it actually gets destroyed. It's not the amount of times you use it. Actually, I'm not even gonna use it for my ranged weapon, so I'm just gonna fill it with 0, which means that it will automatically disable this feature. And amount of attack fire sounds, you can basically say you want to use 2 different sounds, right? And it will fold with attack sound 0, attack sound 1, depending on the amount of attack sounds you're filling in the value here. And you'll now be able to assign a audio clip inside of these fields, and it will automatically randomize the clip that is being used for each time you shoot with the weapon. Same thing goes for melee weapons, but I'm not gonna use any because I don't want to fill up. I don't actually have any audio clips right now, so I'm not going to be using any. We also have default mag ammo, which is going to be the ammo that the mag object that we assigned, or actually the mag name that we assigned here, weapon mag name, is going to be using. So you can see that we have SMAG components on these 3 M9 mags, and they are using ammo 7. So you can also obviously go to any of these and edit it, but you don't have to edit it from here. So it's very simple to just, you know, go ahead and edit any property you want without having to affect the others. So we also have a bullet spawn point, and oh yeah, we're getting close to the part where I wanted to show you guys for this word spawn. If you remember, it kind of spawned in the wrong position. So we also have bullet spawn point, which you can choose from folding out M9 in this case, and we have a bullet spawn point, or the bullet spawn game object, which is a game object, or like literally a simple cube or in a sphere or anything like that, just you, which is something that you are gonna be adding. Actually, I realized that we have bullet spawn point and we have a bullet in here, so it's wrong. It's supposed to be like bullet here and a bullet spawn point in this case. There we go. We also have bullet travel speed, so the float that will be used for movement speed as a force for the bullet. And we also have a weapon range, the amount of range the bullet can travel before getting destroyed automatically, because it cannot travel anything more than that. And then we have fire rate, which is the amount of seconds that you're going to be waiting before being able to fire again. It's the same thing for melee, but it's attack timer. So it's not fire rate, it's just attack timer, but it's the same thing, you know, it's the same logic. Then we also have used legacy animations. Even if you want to use legacy animations, you're still not forced to use this setting. You can code in the animations if you want to, but I know that a lot of people want to use the animator window in Unity and not the legacy animations. So because of the fact that I knew that you guys want to use that, and I know that you guys don't want to use, or you are going to be using your own player models, etc., I just let you guys decide how the animations should work. So you don't have to assign any animations from this window, because it would just bug it out, right? So now we have custom spawn point. So if we toggle it on or switch it on, you'll see that we have 3 different fields that are going to be folding out. First one is called for position, second one rotation, and last but not least scale. It's the same logic as in the transform component. I'm sure you guys are familiar with this. You just enter the position in X, Y, and Z axis, and same thing with rotation and scale. If you don't want to use them, you can just leave them as 0, and it will automatically just use the current scale or rotation that it is in. But you will probably want to use this because in my case, you saw that the sword was not placed or positioned properly, not even rotated properly. So I can use this to enter any position for the sword I want. I'm not gonna be using it because this is just a demonstration, and I'm not even editing the sword. So yes, these are the weapon properties. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Next stop, which is the final stop, I'm gonna be showing you guys the crafting window. So this may be a little bit, just a little bit like make you dizzy or something, but it's very simple as soon as you get into it. So you can see that on the left side we have items and weapons. So you can choose any weapon you want or any item you want, and click on add item as blueprint, and it will automatically add this item or weapon as a blueprint. And on the right side you can see that we have crafting settings. We have creation, where you can choose from creating new blueprint, delete latest blueprint, or nullify all blueprints. It's supposed to be an S there, but I didn't add it. So we can see that in the blueprint list we have an X, just like in the items and weapons tab, which will nullify this element. And then we have a 0, just like in here too. They just represent the ID of that blueprint. It's not very necessary to know the ID, but if you want to use it, you can use it. So we also have the blueprint name, M9, because I added already this, and I've also added another blueprint for sword. But if I want to delete this, I can just nullify it and delete latest blueprint. There we go, it's done. But just to, or actually, nah, whatever. You know the logic of this, edit this blueprint from the items and weapons tab. So we can just click edit this blueprint, and down below we have the blueprint settings. So in here we will see that we have first and foremost amount of craftables required. So the craftables, and also there's a little information box here in case you want to know what craftables mean and blueprint means. Craftables are basically items being crafted or weapons, and blueprint is the final crafted item, so it's the product, and the craftables are the reactants. Okay, so we have amount of craftables required, in this case the amount of items that are required to craft a M9. So let's say we want to use 2 different craftables, right? So we have craftable 0 name, wood, and we can change it up. So if we want to use another item such as spikes, you can just write in spikes and it will automatically use this item here. So we also have a craftable 1 name, which is basically the second item that you want to use for crafting. And then we also have another field that is called for amount required. So this is where you'll be entering the amount of wood required in order to make this item work, right? So if you want to use any amount of craftables required, and then say you want to use 10 woods for a M9, because that's obviously how you make an M9, you just enter 10 here, and it will automatically check for you each time you use the blueprint system from the inventory and craft an item, in this case M9. So you don't have to take care of anything, you don't have to code anything, it will always be taking care of everything for you. Last, well, let's show you the environment tab as well. So it's the same logic, or it's the same design as in player and inventory tabs, which is very unique, I know. We have 3 different directories in here. It's just like in the inventory. It's called for environment. We have trees, we have bushes, and we have rocks. So environment tab, inside of environment tab, this is a functional system that is implemented into SurvivalEngine Pro, so that you can cut down trees, mine boulders or like destroy rocks and all that stuff. And you can even cut down or chop down bushes to grab berries, etc. You'll be able to add many more options to here, but this is the simple starting design. This is still in development. It's not even done yet, like the environment tab. So don't worry, this is just a testing, not testing design, but you know, it's not done yet. So first and foremost, we have a plus and minus buttons that we can use to either delete the latest item and add a new item, just like in the other tabs. So we can add as many as we want, and if we have more that are extending the whole UI, we can move around with the slider. So it's very simple to use. And now first and foremost, you will realize that we have tree settings because we're inside of the trees, and you'll be able to assign a prefab from the project window, obviously project tab, and it will display an icon or the icon itself for the object itself or the prefab itself as just a preview. So it's not very important, but it's, you know, if you don't wanna pay attention to all the fields for object fields, basically where the prefab name is located, you can just look at the icon and it will, you know, automatically add an icon. So you can see that if we assign bullet here, it will take the bullet icon right from the project tab. But I can nullify this because I'm not gonna use it. And this is just a 50 HP pickup, which I'm using for just testing purposes, obviously, because it's not a tree. And I don't want it to be added as a tree. But there will be a button which is gonna be called for add S3 component, just like in items and weapons, which you will be able to use in order to add the components that are required. So you'll also be able to see the tree name, you'll see the ID, and many other stuff. And also you'll be able to assign items that are going to be given to the player or dropped from the tree as soon as the tree is destroyed or punched enough times for the items to be dropped. And you'll also be able to assign tree health or durability or whatever. Actually, health is a better word for it. So you'll be able to assign the health for the tree, and same thing goes for rocks and bushes. And as soon as, you know, you can set up like custom values. As soon as, let's say, health is 100, right? If we hit the tree enough times to decrease the health to 50, we're gonna drop a wood. If we decrease it to 20, we're gonna drop 2 more woods, you know, etc., etc., and so on. And you will be able to edit all these properties from here. So yes, we are done with the little, not so little introduction to SurvivalEngine Pro. I hope you guys enjoyed. As you can see, there's another tab that we have jumped over because it's not done yet, and it's called for interactions. Inside of interactions, you'll be able to assign the foundations and modular building system that is going to be implemented inside of SurvivalEngine Pro. It's quite simple. I already have a template that I had created for my old asset, so I'm just going to implement it and, you know, edit it so that it works perfectly fine with this. Or maybe I just create it from scratch. I don't know. It's just a logistic. So, and there will be a few more features inside of interactions, but, you know, that's coming up later. And it will obviously, like I said from the start of the beginning of the video, SurvivalEngine Pro will constantly keep getting updated, so it will never ever end. More features will be added by time, and you guys, if you purchase SurvivalEngine Pro, you'll be receiving the updates for free. You don't have to pay anything specific for this, and there is not going to be any new SurvivalEngine asset at all, like an independent asset. This is the only one that is going to be existent, except for the older generations. And if you already own the older generations, you're going to be able to use the returning customer policy that I have implemented into my own system, and which means that if you have already purchased any other SurvivalEngine assets from me, you'll be able to receive a discount on this because, you know, it's still a sequel, and I don't want you guys to just throw out your money for nothing, right? You already purchased the older version, so obviously you're going to be receiving some type of reward for purchasing the new one. So yes, like I said, there will obviously be many more updates coming, and it's not even done yet. It's not fully done yet. I'm still gonna document it, etc. But I'm certain that I will be done with it until maximum until the weekend coming up. So it will be probably released under the weekend, and I just don't want to rush it up and deliver a bad quality product. I want to deliver something that is going to be good and you guys are going to enjoy using, and maybe make your AAA game success game by using my asset, which would be honoring me a lot. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you all enjoyed. Let me know if you have any suggestions on what kind of videos that I can make, and if you have any suggestions on features, recommend me to any features that are missing for SurvivalEngine Pro, and if you want any feature that should be added but it's not added yet. And I would appreciate that a lot, because it helps me growing, and it's helping me let SurvivalEngine Pro development keep going. So thank you guys once more. I really appreciate all your support on my videos lately, and also my beautiful asset lately. If you want to know more information, just leave a comment below and I'll reply as soon as possible. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy. Don't forget to check out the links in the description below, including the forum topic and also my Twitter, because full sellout mode, boys. So yes, thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the next video of whatever I make. See you guys. Bye.